In 1985, two Birmingham fast food managers were killed in robberies with no eyewitnesses or fingerprints. After a similar crime in Bessemer, Anthony Hinton was arrested based on a photo lineup, despite having an alibi. Police claimed his mother's revolver was used in all three crimes. The racially biased prosecutor used this as the sole evidence against Hinton. Mr. Hinton spent nearly 30 years on death row, becoming one of Alabama's longest-serving inmates. After proving his innocence, he was acquitted, making him the 152nd person in the U.S. to be freed from death row since 1983, highlighting serious flaws in the criminal justice system. Today, Hinton works as a community educator for the Equal Justice Initiative, traveling both across the country and internationally to speak about his experience. His story examines painful truths about racial injustice through a prism of faith, resilience, and even humor.
Kirk Bloodsworth was arrested in 1984 for the rape and murder of a 9-year-old girl, Dawn Hamilton. Bloodsworth was arrested based on eyewitness testimony, despite having no physical evidence linking him to the crime. He was convicted by a Maryland court and sentenced to death in 1985. Bloodsworth spent nearly 9 years in a maximum security prison, facing execution for a crime he did not commit. He read about DNA testing and insisted on testing the evidence from his case. In 1992, DNA tests proved that Bloodsworth was not the perpetrator. He was released from prison in June 1993 and fully acquitted in December 1993. Kirk now makes jewelry out of his home in Philadelphia. On August 23, 1980, Cheryl D. Ferguson, a 16-year-old high school student, was found strangled to death in the loft above the school auditorium. Clarence Brandley, a janitor, was present at the school on the day of the murder. Police considered him the prime suspect. The investigation was marked by significant procedural irregularities. In 1981, despite the lack of concrete evidence, Brandley was convicted of the murder and sentenced to death. A new evidence emerged that supported Brandley's innocence. In 1990, Brandley was released from death row after nearly a decade.